Tuesday, the 31st day of May 2022. Hello there and welcome to our first edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. In our top stories tonight, Minister Kasaija apologizes for passing 10.6 billion supplementary budget in error. Pilgrims from Greater Masaka take the trek to Martyrs. Uganda's inflation rate rises to 6.3% in May from 4.9% in April. And in sports, final squad for Sekafa Women Challenge Cup named. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Elizabeth Nakakoni is on sign language and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Let's get started. Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, has admitted illegalities in the initiation of the 10.6 billion supplementary budget for Uganda Land Commission that was meant to clear off some land claimants in the financial year 2020-2021. Kasaija also admitted for erroneously approving the budget without following procedures in accordance with the Public Finance Management Act 2015. Let's get more on that in this story.
Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development Matia Kasaija has appeared before the Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises (COSASE) that is investigating the Auditor General's report for financial year 2020-2021. He admitted for having erroneously approved a supplementary budget of shillings 10.6 billion without following the right procedures.
Yes, I am overall responsible, and I'm not denying that one, absolutely. But if the officers below me don't do their job, they should also be held accountable.
In his statement, Kasaija had initially told the committee that the supplementary was legal and binding and that it went through all the established government procedures in accordance with the law before it was approved. However, the committee interrogated him on the legal procedures of initiating a supplementary, and instead the minister apologized and accepted that there were some irregularities in the process.
So, Honourable Minister, how do we reconcile these issues? Because you clearly know the procedure where supplementaries should be initiated from, but then you went ahead and signed, you went ahead and wrote to the Speaker and said, let's push through this supplementary. The money came, and then you released the money when you knew the right procedures were not followed.
My recommendation would be that whoever did this illegality should refund the money. So in your opinion, on the microphone, can you help us? Who should refund this money as a recommendation?
Preliminary investigations show that the right procedures were floated while processing the supplementary, which was allotted to benefit 6 land claimants, some of whom were allegedly ghost beneficiaries. According to the Auditor General's report, the 6 land claimants who benefited from the 10.6 billion supplementary are Kasiya Rabukurukuru, who got 6.4 billion, Stephen Peter Nagenda 1 billion, Julius Busora 1.4 billion, Natalie Namoli got 1.6 billion, Yisaka Rakana 125 million, and Geoffrey Mugisha, who got 1.4 billion.
Why would you selectively prefer to process a supplementary budget for these few individuals and this particular case when it is within your documentation that there are so many other claims?
Kaseja also faulted his technical staff for misguiding him into approving a supplementary which was not initiated by the end user. He even asked the committee to summon the then Secretary to the Treasury, Keith Muhakanizi, and some other technical staff to explain the illegalities.
To get to the bottom of this matter, I think the permanent secretary then, he's still around, you should summon him. You should summon the accountant, because the accountant is the one who eventually sees everything through before money is released.
Legislators on the committee blamed the minister for not doing due diligence before approving the supplementary budget.
Why is it, Honorable Minister, that you did not do your due diligence? First, be sure who is initiating. We are being told about a presidential directive. Where is it? Can I look at it?
You can't do due diligence, and we do due diligence.
Shamim Naiga, UBC News.
A State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Joyce Sebugwao Nabosa, has said the Personal Data Privacy Portal will pave way for implementing protection of personal data for all Ugandans. She was launching the Personal Data Privacy Portal at the Media Center here in Kampala. Minister of ICT and National Guidance, National Information Technology Authority, and the United Nations Capital Development Fund are key partners, as we hear in this story.
The Personal Data Protection Office, in partnership with UNSDF and NITA Uganda, in ensuring data privacy and protection, have launched a portal to push inclusivity in the digital transformation to ease access to information through their internet website, SMS and USSD for those who cannot access the internet. The State Minister for ICT and National Guidance briefed the media on the provisions Government of Uganda pave for the PDPO establishment and regulations.
The Government of Uganda enacted the Data Protection and Privacy Act 2019, which came into force on 3rd May 2019.
The Permanent Secretary for ICT, Dr. Amina Zawede, emphasized the need to create, build, and hold trust in the systems and open up opportunities to the business sector.
We call upon all agencies, MDAs, institutions in the country. It does not apply only to government, but all institutions and all citizens to register with this portal, because at the end of the day, as we engage in different stakeholder partnerships with development partners, with the private sector, we need to create that assurance that people's data is secure and people's privacy is adhered to.
Executive Director NITA Uganda, Dr. Hatwib Mogasa, there are many transactions being carried online. NITA, in this cause, will control risks and mitigations through their UG Pass facility that is used to increase the speed in the access of information in just a single click of a button.
This office is going to ensure that the risks are controlled, they are measured, they are mitigated, and they are prevented.
Uganda is the first in the region to embrace a digital system in terms of personal data protection at the launch of a 2-month awareness campaign to assist both the private and public sectors on privacy. With the theme, Your Privacy Matters, Minister for ICT and National Guidance launched the Personal Data Protection and Privacy Portal.
I take this honor to officially launch the Personal Data Protection Portal. Thank you.
Jane Nyiramcha, Owori Ian, UBC News.
Now, for every 10 people walking along major roads and highways, at least 7 of them are pilgrims. Now, they are heading to Namugongo to celebrate this year's 3rd June Martyrs Day. Now, this group comprises of pilgrims from Masaka, Chotera, Sembabule and Kalungu districts heading to Namugongo shrines.
They all started the journey at 0 mileage. They have covered tens of kilometers within just days. The speed definitely tells how determined they are.
I'm going to speak to my God so that I can, in future, be able to pay school fees for my children.
We are heading to Namugongo. We had just set off from Mitala Maria, hoping to refresh from Katende.
From the districts of Kalungu, Sembabule, Masaka and Chotera, young and old, all are making a pilgrimage to Namugongo, a site where 22 Catholic and 23 Protestant pages were killed on 3rd June 1986 by the chief executioner Mukajanga at the orders of Kabaka Mwanga Basamulekere II.
Ntumira abantu b'ebisanje bonna abanyendo ab'omu katale nti nze maama mmole bakkirize Yezu amala ate okukola okwabulina kusikwe kugaggawala abamalivu bwe nnina.
The determination and hold is from my good Lord, and I seek to pray for my mother to continue being alive.
Rosaries down their necks and hands as they pray. But what about their faces?
The journey has had some challenges, but because of our rich faith, we will endure every pain to make it.
I'm fighting for the blessings of the works of my mother's hands, and even for my baby, so that I get to know his real father and heritage.
To others, this is a thank you journey.
I'm returning to Namugongo to say thank you, Lord. I last time prayed through the Martyrs to help me out with my child who had been abandoned by his father. Indeed, I have managed to educate him up to university, and now he is employed.
The team spent the Monday night at Katende Parish in Wakiso district with hope to reach Namugongo Martyrs shrines this Tuesday to celebrate Friday, June 3rd, Martyrs Day. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Masaka Road.
Thanks, Robert, for that story. Now, Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, has asked bishops of the Church of Uganda to embrace the oil sector for national development. Ms. Nankabirwa was addressing the House of Bishops sitting at Bushara Island Camp on Lake Bunyonyi in Kampala district.
Minister for Energy and Mineral Development Ruth Nankabirwa has said that since the discovery of oil, enemies against progress have spread negative propaganda on the resource. Nankabirwa appeals to religious leaders to join government in creating awareness masses to appreciate the sense of the resources in Uganda development. Concerning fuel prices, Nankabirwa says the exploitation and processing of Uganda's oil will not solve the challenge, but it will create a more secure reserve for the much needed resource.
We will be able to have fuel in our reserves. We are constructing a storage terminal in Ipigi, which will have a capacity of 351 million liters. I cannot commit to say the price will drastically drop, but security of the reserves will be there.
At the same event, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, His Grace Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, asked those in authority to desist from tendencies of corruption.
So we are able to to ask questions about how people are going to benefit from this oil. We need to know, because we don't want things to do with corruption to take over, because corruption is a...
Some of the bishops expressed their wishes for the resource.
We went out with a negative attitude about the production of oil and its related effects. So mine is to ask to know what plans the government has to move around demystifying this.
Well, the attack also involves the universities, the academia.
The discovery and confirmation of commercial oil and gas resources in Uganda in 2006 was a milestone in the country. Since then, several strides have been made to ensure sustainable development in the oil and gas resources. This culminated into the signing of key project agreements in April 2021 and announcement of the fiscal investment decision of the projects on 1st February 2022. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Now, Uganda's inflation rate has risen to 6.3% in the month of May 2022 compared to 4.9% in April. Uganda Bureau of Statistics attributes the significant rise to increase in prices of food, non-alcoholic beverages and transport. As the price of essential commodities soars, the public is cautioned against extravagancy.
Uganda's inflation is rising, driven by external and internal factors. According to statistics, the monthly headline inflation for the month of May increased by 1.5% compared to 1.4% rise recorded in the month of April 2022. This trend is largely driven by the increase in food and fuel prices.
In May 2021, just food inflation on an annual basis. Currently, as we talk, just food, the annual inflation is registered at 11.7. You see the difference? We were in negatives, the inflation that we had. That means we had even prices saved for the prices, either we had the plenty delivery where we need it, and the prices were not so high. But currently, food alone, the inflation has gone from the minus to the positive, and a very high positive of 11.7. Food on annual basis.
The inflation as measured by the Consumer Price Index in the last month of May 2022 increased to 6.3%, up from 4.9% registered in April 2022.
Policy will come up, and since we've released the figure, they are going to use now this figure to be able to give the right policies in the right direction. But of course, for the economy, if the prices are high and something has to be done, they have to look into a number of measures that they must implement now.
Increases in prices of commodities ultimately means that consumers have to dig deeper into their pockets in order to cater for their needs. With no solution in sight for the runaway inflation, the statisticians can only make an appeal to the public regarding their spending.
When you see prices are going up, you start spending sparingly, because please don't spend on what you don't need. You should spend on necessities. So change your kind of spending to the basics that you need, not luxuries.
However, within the same period, there were decreases in the prices of commodities under restaurants and accommodation services, education services, and ICT.
If you have gone shopping in the recent days, maybe in an open-air market or a supermarket, you must have realized something, that you are actually spending more for less. As per the Uganda Bureau of Statistics projections, the situation might actually get worse before it gets better. Dennis Igor for UBC News in Kampala.
The situation will get worse before it gets better, and of course the caution there, spend on what you really want. Now, Law Development Center Magistrates Court has remanded 6 activists to Luzira Government Prison on charges of inciting violence. Now, this was after prosecution asked court for more time to reply to their bail application. The 6 accused persons were arrested yesterday while protesting the escalating commodity prices in the country.
The group led by the deputy-led Mayor Darren Nyanjura, Saltman MP Anne Adeke, and others have appeared before the Law Development Center Chief Magistrate Alule Augustine to apply for bail after being charged with offences of incitement to violence yesterday. Through their legal team led by Samuel Muizi, each presented two sureties and asked court to grant them bail.
We were a bit uneasy yesterday with the decision to defer hearing, but honestly, it has assisted us present the sureties before you. Their demeanor has been very clear, very collected. In the premises, Your Honor, we pray that you find all the sureties so presented, first on their personal cognition, responsibilities attached to them.
Prosecution led by Christine Apolot, however, was not able to respond to the application, thus requesting court for more time to enable her verify the accused's bail documents. This request was objected to by the defense lawyer.
It is very unreasonable, it's very unconscionable, and we believe it's a deliberate attempt to imprison the accused persons at least for a week or so. Because one of the accused persons is a breastfeeding mother. Really, court at least would have taken judicial notice of that, but that it chose to incarcerate the accused persons for another week.
Magistrate Augustine Alule adjourned the matter to the 7th of June 2022. The 6 were arrested yesterday while protesting against the escalating commodity prices in the country. In another development, the General Court Martial in Machindi has withdrawn the charges of illegal possession of a firearm and its ammunitions from a businessman, Sam Buchanan. This comes at a time when Sam Buchanan is already out of prison after he was released on a non-cash bail of 10 million Ugandan shillings in 2019.
They have dismissed the case of illegal possession of firearm, and I'm free right now, out of court. I'm liberated. I thank the UPDF, I thank General Museveni, I thank General Salim Saleh. Those parents are great people. I'm sorry, but I went through a lot. It was a painful period to me, but I thank God that the truth has come out, that the gun was mine, I possessed it legally.
According to a judgment from the Uganda People's Defence Forces Legal Department to court and the investigations in this matter, Sam Buchanan lawfully owned the said gun. Nathan Rebecca, UBC News.
Jennifer, Jukila, Wewagamba, I don't have waka. The eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jambola be waka, look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Show them waka with MTN. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change. and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply using a phone.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Oil and Gas Moment, brought to you by Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. Uganda's oil and gas resources are located within pristine environments. The oil and gas activities are benchmarked on Uganda's updated environment legislation and on the international best practice standards in order to continuously ensure coexistence between the oil activities and Uganda's rich biodiversity. This is being achieved using improved technology to reduce environmental footprint, mapping of sensitive ecological features for avoidance, improving standards of waste management and development and implementation of tools for environment management. These include the Albertine Graben Environment Monitoring Plan, Strategic Environmental Assessment, various environmental sensitivity atlases, and the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan, among others. For more information, visit www.pau.go.ug. Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay or Beg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
It's better to foster respect instead of fear and pain.
Cause a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV, and a warm welcome to those of you who are just joining us. Now, the Managing Director, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Winston David Agaba, has called upon staff to support implementation of the parish development model through all UBC channels. Mr. Agaba was closing the first batch of parish development model training for UBC staff at Nakawa ICT Hub.
The Managing Director, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation UBC, Mr. Agaba Winston, has urged all UBC staff to disseminate information on the parish development model after a training.
They need to appreciate before they can then relay the success stories, the challenges, and the best alternatives in tweaking whatever is not working right to achieve the ultimate goal of making sure that the recipients of these interventions.
Mr. Agaba made these remarks during parish development model training for the UBC staff held at Nakawa ICT Hub. UBC positive role is to increase the media engagements, develop public awareness as a national broadcaster.
Put whatever resources at hand into manageable, meaningful, business-oriented investments that have a return on investment, because this is not money that is a donation. It's seed capital that everyone is going to access, not everyone, but those that are eligible to access it. And it will be a multiplier effect in that once it is returned, then it's a revolving fund for others also to use the same.
The parish model is the latest government approach aimed at tackling poverty starting at the parish level. UBC will promote the parish model to disseminate information about the program.
There is a difference between a team and a group. When you see people combined, you think that's a team. Do they have a common goal?
As we get into the parish model, publicizing it, can we think about special reports?
We just need to strengthen what we are doing. We are doing good work. We need to consult each other. We need to work together. We need to appreciate ourselves. And most importantly, love your work.
The facilitators includes Finance and Administration Manager Dr. Kagwa Peter, Assistant Human Resource Manager Felista Bakendaki, and the Corporate Secretary Kosea Ranga emphasized on teamwork, cooperate, and securing UBC properties. The parish development model was initiated and adopted as the key administrative unit best for the attainment of the development goals at the grassroots level. Mutesa Sira Haruna, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Mutesa Sira Haruna, for that report there. Now let's look at some news pertaining to Namugongo Martyrs Shrine, and of course here we're talking about the celebrations to mark Martyrs Day. And yesterday police gave out guidelines to travelers ahead of June Martyrs Day celebrations, and the guidelines spell out the traffic routes for pedestrians, cyclists and motorists. And as you can see on the screen, Jinja Kampala Highway will definitely maintain normal traffic flow, but Kampala Chaliwajala Road will be a one-way for motorists heading to Namugongo Shrine, and of course that means you'll not have cars going there. It will be just for pedestrians. And then the Chaliwajala Nalia interchange will be one way towards Nalia interchange, as you can see here. That is what the guidelines will be showing. Also the busy Chaliwajala Trading Center, as you can see there, to the Basilica will be strictly for pedestrians and very, very important persons and emergency vehicles. Then the VIPs that will be heading to the Catholic Shrine, and of course those ones with the red number plates will access Namugongo through Chaliwajala via Semambo Road. It's very, very clear on the graphics here. And then the foreign pilgrims to the Basilica with vehicles bearing blue stickers will be dropped off to Chaliwajala Trading Center, and also the Muslim community to Namugongo Mosque will access the venue through Boyogerere Buto Chobe Road. Vehicles and motorists without appropriate stickers will not be allowed beyond cut-off points. So if you've got your vehicle and you don't have an appropriate sticker, then do not bother, because your vehicle will not be allowed beyond the cut-off points. And of course, those are some of the routes you have to take note as far as the Martyrs Day celebrations at both the Catholic Shrine and Anglican Shrine are concerned. Those are the routes, and you must take note of that. And of course, here at UBC TV, we wish you a fruitful celebrations. And of course, taxi stages at Chaliwajala Trading Center, Sonde Road, Namugongo Road are also prohibited. So these are the routes, and we do hope that you will be able to follow them as they are. Don't drive if you must not drive, because the routes are clearly marked there, so that you do not get encumbered when you go to Namugongo. Very good if you can actually walk and you trek to the shrines, whether you're going to the Anglican Shrine or the the Catholic Shrine. These are the routes that you should be looking at. Let's take a break and we come back with more news.
Abajulizi wa Uganda.
In other news now, the category of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, has advised leaders in Kampala to find means that enable people live in Kampala equally. He was meeting the Kampala resident city commissioner, Amina Lukanga, who had paid him a courtesy visit at Bulange Mengo.
The Kampala resident city commissioner Amina Nanziri Lukanga has visited the Buganda Katikiro, Charles Peter Mayiga, at Bulange Mengo and discussed matters concerning people of Kampala. During this engagement, Katikiro Charles Peter Mayiga appealed to the central government to solve land grabbing issues in Kampala.
So nonga kabaka yaliwa essomero lya Buganda Royal Institute lisobola okubangula banna Uganda naye bali eyo batutawaanya ebyejjinja mawuuna abikubuulidde bwe tukolagana obulungi tusobola okuziyiza ababbi bano kubanga ate bo tebagaana kutambulira mu makubo ag'amateeka.
Mayiga, however, disclosed that Buganda is always ready to work with the central government.
Oba oweereza gavumenti, oba toweereza gavumenti, bw'obanga oli wano mu Buganda, Buganda tegenda kuvaawo. Kyagala ne tutambulira wamu, ne tuwaŋŋana amagezi, ne tuwabulagana, ne tuyambagana. Bwe tunaakola ebyo bwe bityo emyaka egy'obuvubuka, okusajja kuloba okukazuwala we binaatuukira, ng'obumanyirivu abavubuka bano bwe balinanga bw'amaanyi.
The RCC appreciated the kingdom for encouraging people to embrace government programs.
Ekkubo liri mu gavumenti ya wakati omuli programu ez'enjawulo omuli emyoga, parish model, operation wealth creation, NADS n'ebintu ebirala byonna. Era mu ntebe yo abo Abannayuganda mbakubirize bajjettanire tusobole okuba nga tutuusa kulamu bwaffe kubanga tulina kukkiriza nti ekirwadde kirumimba mawuggwe tekyatuleka bumu kati wabanga ebiseera eby'okutudunula mu mbeera eyo bizze nsaba gavumenti yo neyaffe ya wakati ekwatire wamu bannayuganda tuuse kulamu bwaffe.
In attendance were Kampala deputy RCCs, and as a team they supported the 67th Kabaka birthday run by buying 50 kits. Story compiled by Andrew Sebira for UBC News.
The refugee community and host communities in Rwamanja refugee settlement in Kamwenge district have commemorated World Menstrual Hygiene Management Day under the theme Making Menstruation a Normal Fact of Life by 2030. Now, millions of women and girls around the world are stigmatized and discriminated against because of their gender and have to undergo a fact of life, as we hear in this report.
That they tell you that when you are in your menstruation and you sleep with a man, the pain will go. And so we want to do away with those myths and misconceptions.
Menstrual hygiene management can be challenging for females in developing countries like Uganda, where clean water and sanitation facilities are inadequate. In Rwamanja refugee settlement in Kamwenge district, non-state actors and Save the Children and the local education expertise center Uganda are demystifying menstruation. It was also noted that traditional cultures do not discuss menstruation, which limits adolescents' access to information on functions of the female body.
Hygiene, and as a result, these ones affect their education a lot. On average, we used to see many girls missing school because of menstrual hygiene. But these days, they no longer miss school.
Under the project, Education Cannot Wait, pupils living in refugee settlements of Rwamanja and Palorinya in Obongi district have been trained to make reusable sanitary pads.
Before we came, we did a small baseline on menstrual hygiene management activities in schools and the surrounding communities. And we found out that one of the major issues was the girls used to absent a lot due to menstruation. But when the intervention came in, the girls at least can stay in school. And
Every May 28th is a World Menstrual Hygiene Day, where stakeholders highlight the importance of good menstrual hygiene management.
Here, because of the menstruation period for the ladies and girls.
Nataka ongea kwa wazazi pamoja na watoto.
I want to talk to the father and the children.
Nani musika nyewe batusika niko hapa mbele yangu, nani mwenye alionaka ile date akakimbia akaambia mama sema nimeona vitu hivi na hivi.
The United Nations High Commission for Refugees, Children Protection Focal Person, Golola Mugerwa, called for adequate sanitation facilities and access to feminine hygiene products for adolescent girls.
Many of the girls are shocked to know that they are bleeding from their bodies. They think it's something strange.
Na wengine watoto wa kike ikakuja ile damu wanawaza ya kwamba ni vitu vyenye vitabaua. Hapana, ni kitu kiliumbiwa kikuwe.
So we need to emphasize the fact that going through a menstrual cycle or period of life is a normal thing.
Raising awareness on access to menstrual products, education about menstruation, and period-friendly sanitation facilities is key to the girl child. Douglas Setumba compiled this report.
We'll take yet another short break and return with business news.
Beat the back to school.
In MOU to network cooperatives, and business booming at Namugongo as clock ticks to Martyrs Day.
Affordable packages, great entertainment, sports, local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Everybody, Go TV. This is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, with support from the International Labour Organization, invites you to tune in to UBC Television on Wednesday, 1st June 2022 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for a talk show. The topic for discussion will be mitigating the impact of COVID-19, enhancing productive employment through the parish development model. The panelists will include Mr. Ismail Kalanda, the Principal Labour Officer, Inspections at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mr. Okecho John CL, the Chairman General at Central Organization of Free Trade Unions, and Mr. Geoffrey Kabi, the Employment Relations Officer at the Federation of Uganda Employers. Remember to tune in on UBC TV at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, 1st June 2022.
Fun is our flavor. When we're together, the vibe is pretty alright. Our taste is pretty awesome. We are Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment. Enjoy Mirinda Fruity, Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment.
Jennifer, Jukira, Rewagamba, I don't have waka. You passed the ice through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jambola we waka, look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Show them waka with MTN Momo Nyabo. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money
money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the world of business. As Christians eagerly wait for Martyrs' Day celebrations, the business community in Kampala and its suburbs has found its way to Namugongo, where the market for their commodities is expected. According to business owners in and around the shrines, the week will help them earn a living from their lucrative enterprises.
Traders at Namugongo dealing in foodstuff have decried the level of poverty, which has made it difficult for their food items to attract consumers.
Ninawo ka business kange kano ngabo mukalaba wano naze nakonsike kumberenge ne siraba ko wagula mberenge ekitufu kiri nti olunaku luno abantu baavu nnyo kuba ndowooza olw'okuba badde mu covid ebbanga ddene bizinensi zaafune ebizibu bingi abaana okusoma kati abantu tebalina ssente.
Kula abajulizi lwe lundeese wano naye sirina kye naafunye. Obudde bwe naakamala wano olunaku lulamba sirina kye naafunye. Embeera si nnungi mu byenfuna.
Some traders are still optimistic that on 3rd June they will sell and reap from traders stationed outside the shrine.
Ensonga ndeese wano nti kifo ky'abajulizi nkoze ebintu bibiri nzize n'enkola ate kiranga ni mukulamaga esebo nze ngaze nakatuuka ntuse lwaleero ssaawa 6:00 naye nga ntandise okufuna enjawulo bakasoma bajja mpola naye nga si be banje nnyo naye nga obudde obuddako basuubira okubeera ssebo esebo.
With Century Properties we decided to come here to help people who are out there who doesn't have any information about land. So far people have learned about land, and I'm sure once they go back they are going to inform their communities. They are just waiting for these days to end, and then they are ready to come and grab their plots.
Martyrs' Day, which is expected to boost businesses in and around Namugongo, comes at a time when business operators are still grappling with the effects of COVID-19. Joshua Kagor, UBC News.
Agribusiness Development Center has signed a memorandum of understanding with Uganda Cooperative Alliance to extend capacity building to various cooperatives in the country. The MOU includes educating and skilling more cooperatives to enhance the agricultural sector of the country.
The Memorandum of Understanding between the two organizations tackles challenges that cooperatives face in Uganda, like governance and leadership gaps, financial management, and a lack of access to reliable sector information.
So we are focusing on how best we can address these governance challenges through tailor-made trainings, involve the boards, the supervisory committees, and the vetting committees, because these are the governance structures of a cooperative. So we train them, we equip them with the right information, the right knowledge to manage well the cooperatives.
The 5-year extendable agreement will enable members of Uganda Cooperative Alliance tap into agribusiness development centers' resources like the e-learning platform, SOMA, and a sector database linking members to potential financing opportunities.
How do you charge your leadership in your cooperative to serve you better, to serve you transparently? So these are trainings we do that open up the eyes and make the demands of the cooperators improve the overall environment in the cooperative. And with that transparency, with the ability to link them, because what does a financier also want? They want transparency. They want to see the records. They want to see them matching up. So when you have a link to finance as well, it means you can access the inputs. It means you can actually collectively market, collectively bulk, so that you can also have the capacity to access the markets.
Uganda Cooperative Alliance has 31,000 registered cooperatives. This is an uphill task for Agribusiness Development Center that has so far trained only 171 farmer-based organizations since 2018.
We had trained 171 farmer-based organizations, out of which we'd reached 12,000 members. And we've managed to do linkages, not even in terms of only markets and finance, but as well as inputs.
Uganda has over 31,000 registered cooperatives, and as earlier mentioned, these are both primary, secondary, tertiary, and one apex, which is UCA, serving over 10 million Ugandans that are involved or engaged in the different economic activities.
Farmers in Uganda lack sufficient capital and support from financial institutions due to the sector being regarded as highly risky. This partnership will transform organizational capacities of member cooperatives, making them bankable. Sharon Muber and Wadulo Mark Arnold for UBC News.
Ukraine's final 23 named ahead of women's Sekafa. And Mutambuze starts campaign to hone potential Olympians. UMU edges Gulu University in Pepsi UFL. And now let's have a look at sports news. And Uganda Crested Cranes coach has named his final 23-player squad to play at the Sekafa Women's Challenge Cup that starts tomorrow at the FUFA Technical Center in Njeru. John Barnes Sentamu gives us more.
The team is of 3 goalkeepers, 7 defenders, 5 midfielders and 8 forwards, including Juliet Nalukenge, Fazila Ikwaput, Margaret Kunihira and Sandra Nabweteme. Coach George Rutalo says the team is in good stead to use the Sekafa tournament as a launch pad for a successful Women Africa Cup of Nations that starts in July.
My team is in good shape and they are ready to compete and to become the champion. It is a good moment that we have no serious injuries. Everybody is set.
Defender Shadia Nancha will be assisted by Hasfana Suna as team captain, while others on the team are Daisy Nakaziro, Daphne Nyaenga and Juliet Adeke.
I call upon each and everyone to come and stand with us, because united we stand and we need you as you need us.
Florence Nakiwalaki is chairperson of the local organizing committee of the tournament that starts tomorrow with Group A ties.
Of the tournament tomorrow at 1 p.m. and that will be the first game between Burundi and Djibouti. Then we shall proceed on to Uganda and Rwanda at exactly 4 p.m. I welcome fans into the stadium. The stadium is open to fans and we encourage as many people as possible to come and watch our girls play, and we can promise fair game and for fair results for a fair game.
The 5 midfielders are Fiona Nabumba, Joan Nabili, Shiba Zalwango, Shamila Naluja and Aisha Nantongo. Other defenders on the team are Asia Nakibuka, Sumaya Komuntale, Lukia Namubiru, Margaret Namirimu, Samari Nakacho and Aisha Nantongo. The tournament is complete by Group B that has Tanzania, Zanzibar, South Sudan and Ethiopia.
And that story brings us to the end of this first edition of News Tonight. We'll be returning later on at 10 for our second and final edition. On sign language, it is Elizabeth Nakakoni and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangama. See you at 10.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, with support from the International Labour Organization, invites you to tune in to UBC Television on Wednesday, 1st June 2022 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for a talk show. The topic for discussion will be mitigating the impact of COVID-19, enhancing productive employment through the parish development model. The panelists will include Mr. Ismail Kalanda, the Principal Labour Officer, Inspections at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mr. Okecho John CL, the Chairman General at Central Organization of Free Trade Unions, and Mr. Geoffrey Kabi, the Employment Relations Officer at the Federation of Uganda Employers. Remember to tune in on UBC TV at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, 1st June 2022.
Football packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Everybody, Go TV. This is where our best stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Fun is our flavor. When we're together, the vibe is pretty alright. Our taste is pretty awesome. We are Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment. Enjoy Mirinda Fruity, Uganda's